To the I Think You Should Buy podcast. You probably have noticed by now the new setup. Me and Kyle decided to liquidize all of our assets to purchase.
Liquidize?
Did I say that right? No?
But we ran out of money, so we couldn't fill the gaps, obviously, on the one behind us. But luckily, by next week, we might have to just leave it like that so people just keep having to comment, like, fix that. Dude, when I posted, like, our first little, like, snippet, 10 comments were like, bro, you gotta fix it.
Actually?
I swear to God.
Name drop them. So
Evan Landis was the first big one.
That's not a surprise.
I mean,
I don't even really know Devin that well, but I just feel like...
And you don't want to after you just heard that.
With a name like that? Yeah, that's unfortunate. It sucks when you, like, you go all out and create something like this and people are just...
You just pour your heart into something like this and liquidize.
Yeah, well, when you liquidize all assets to get stuff like this, the reality is, my company, Guardian Mortgage, put some money in for us. Well, for me, he's not with Guardian Mortgage, but made a content room, and now we're able to use this for our podcast as well. So if you're hopefully, if you've been watching the last couple episodes, you're still tuning in. If you're not watching this, then you were never really a true fan. So
yeah, true.
we don't want you to watch.
But we want our original 5 listeners.
Yes, stay loyal. We don't want the people that just tune in for the first 5 minutes of the first episode.
Also brought to you by BlackRock and
Yeah, we also are sponsored now. So Smart Water had reached out a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So when we first started, we had reached out to Target, Smart Water, Coca-Cola. We reached out to a couple of different companies, and they got back to us pretty quickly, and we're super excited about the podcast. So that was a huge...
Smart Water was there from day one.
Yeah, we can really say they were from day one. So Smart Water's on with us. We got BlackRock. They're a local coffee shop here in Arizona.
I'm working on Dyson vacuums. Right?
Dyson will be a huge addition.
I might actually have to step out early, take a call.
And then Dixie Cups as well was another that we got on board. So we're excited about it. Again, hope you guys are enjoying what we've put out so far. We like doing this. It's Friday. We got the vibes going. We got the coffee flowing.
Yeah, we woke up early, got here at like 7 a.m. We're locked out of the office. Then we got into the office. Then we were locked out of this room. I had to get the janitor here. So life's going to throw its obstacles at you, and we're just going to get.
We'll make it work. We're going to hit a little run after this. We hit a run. We've been coming in Friday mornings to shoot these, and then hit a run after through Paradise Valley, so we can look at $7 million houses. Little motivation. So got a good routine going. Yeah,
I swear the one that we ran by last week has to be like a Suns play or something. It
was
like a compound. They had industrial that like a semi would pull in to take their trash out. It's insane.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet place to go for a little jump.
There was 3 gate entries.
Yeah.
Which I feel like if you have more than one entrance to your house, then it's pretty massive.
It's saying something. But I'm pumped. We'll wrap this up and go hit a little run ski and then close out the week strong, baby.
Yeah, dude, it's been 2 months now? 2 months since you've been in Arizona?
Yeah, coming up on 2 months. Yeah, it's crazy. And we got probably 5 weeks left.
Well, no, because you guys will move here after the wedding, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy because it feels like you've been here. We just talked about this for what, it feels like 3 weeks. It's been almost 2 months.
It's nuts, dude. Time just flies.
Is it weird that because you lived in Puyallup for the last year and a half?
Yep.
And then obviously you grew up there, have a ton of friends that still live in Puyallup, and then your family is all you have 15 minutes away, 15, 30 minutes. So is it weird after you're there for a year and a half, now you're in Arizona, you don't really have anyone aside from Bree and I, which is pretty much family, but
yeah, I mean, it's pretty used to it because when we were in Hawaii, got kind of used to it as well. I'm pretty good about, well, at least I don't know. We'll see what they say, but I feel like I'm decent at staying in touch. Just via phone and FaceTime and stuff like that, and so is my family. So I still talk to them quite a bit. So it hasn't been that weird or that much of a change, just because I was already used to it a little bit. Obviously, it sucks. You want to see, your family as much as you can. But my sisters are coming down to visit, not this weekend, but the weekend after. And then I'll be back, to see them before the wedding and all that type of stuff too. And then, so no, it hasn't been too weird. And I'm just lucky because I got a really good family, and they're good about reaching out to
Stay
me.
in touch.
Yeah. But no, I mean, what about you? It's been a lot longer for you. I mean, you've been down here, what, 4 or 5 years?
May of 2018. So in this May it'll be 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, I know it went by quick, but yeah, it's a challenge. I feel like you have to. I don't like have something in my calendar that says call mom or call dad or call my brother, but I think it's important to like reach out or remember to reach out at least once every 2 weeks. What I try to do.
Yeah.
And if I have free time, if like I'm driving somewhere, I'll call one of my parents or call my brother. But yeah, it's definitely it's been a lot harder because now that we have Bree and I have a kid, we want to make sure they are able to see him as much as possible. So doing FaceTimes and obviously having them come down, helps. But
yeah, Arizona's nice because flights are so cheap. Like back and forth, you can get a round trip flight for like $150.
Is that a red flag that Arizona sucks? That nobody wants to be here, or why is it cheap?
Airlines for that one.
Yeah, maybe it's a big hub, and that's why it's cheap. Because
I feel like Seattle, SeaTac, and then Phoenix are both just big airports.
Yeah,
and it's a couple-hour flight, 2-3 hour flight. So that's probably a big reason about it. But I don't know. It's because I've come down here for a bunch of bachelor parties and stuff, and just to visit you over the years, and it's never that big of a burden.
Yeah,
especially if you have someone to stay with. Because then you don't have your hotel or whatever. You just pay like $150 for flights, and you're like, okay, I would have spent that over a weekend anyway.
Yeah, right.
Just on random stuff. So you can't even like leave your house without spending $100 at least.
Now, unfortunately, no, you can't. Everything's super expensive. And you have a bachelor party coming up in like what, a month?
Yeah, about a month out.
What's the big day? Share with the listeners the big day.
July 19th.
Yeah, dude. So
yeah, we're only like.
You got like a week, and then you're 2 months out.
2 months out from the wedding, which isn't that.
And I know you were talking earlier. I know you probably don't want Jazz to hear this, but you give him cold feet a little bit.
Yeah,
but
dude,
it comes and goes, right?
No, dude, I'm honestly so pumped. Like, it's weird because I feel like guys like weddings obviously mainly for the woman most of the time. I don't think that's a super hot take. Like,
depends on what you do.
Yeah, true.
No, I agree.
All the planning and stuff like that, I'm just like. I'm like, whatever you want, I don't care.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like when we got married, I let Bree do. I think we had this conversation where we were going to linen for our table.
Yeah.
We were taking time out of our day to go. No offense if you're in the linen business, but I was taking like an hour and a half out of work to go look at tablecloths, and they were like, this one's really going to set the mood, or like this one's going to be more of like a vibey. It's going to really create more, of a soft feel for the space. And when I heard those words, soft feel for the space, that's when I knew I was out of the combo. I'm like, I'm going to let you take this from here.
Yeah, did you ever think that you'd be having, just like when you were growing up, that you'd be taking time out of your day to go look at tablecloths?
Dude, everything in my life led up to that moment.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Great. But on a serious note, I'm pretty pumped. I'm excited. It's just setting in too, like, obviously I have my mom's side of the family and then my dad's side of the family. So just with talking to the family over the last week, it's going to be so sweet to have like all of my family in one space for like 4 or 5 days, just because that never really gets to happen. So that's like one of the things, obviously, other than getting married to Jasmine, that I'm like just super pumped about. Getting everybody together and just being locked in for.
Everyone's forced to, and you're right. It's like you have a weekend where everybody that you care about and love that's in your life is all right there.
Yeah.
And they're forced to be, right? They can't say no.
Yeah.
So, well, they can, but then would be a good scenario.
I'm pumped. It's exciting. It's creeping up. I got some work to do. I got to obviously come up with what I want to say in the vows.
Are you guys doing vows?
Stuff like that. I think so. I just asked Jasmine like a week ago. I was like, wait, are we doing vows? Or like, what? And she's like, yeah.
She's like, are you dumb?
I was like, I don't know how this
I was the one that wanted to do vows. Bree was against it, and I was like, no, we're doing vows. Because I'm like,
that's insane to me.
I'm all about the spotlight, baby. I need people to know my love for Bree. So
when she said that, I was like, oh. Like, because I don't know, like, I feel like some weddings you go to, it's just like, I do whatever, and you just say I do or whatever. But no, I think it'll be good too. I'm pumped. I'm up with a little something.
I think it's nice because it's not nice. I just think it's something that if you didn't do, you would regret. And with people that do vows, you look back and you're happy you did, because it's like your one chance. Like, aside from standing up in front of people, you don't really have a chance to talk to everybody that's there about you guys getting married. So it's like your opportunity to say, like, this is our story. This is why I love you. This is why I want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that's why I wanted to do it at least.
Yeah, no, that's good. I just
it just shows like I'm a better man than you because
Yeah.
I wanted to do it. You didn't even know you were doing it.
I just am taking it one day at a time. I just haven't even had time to really think about all that stuff that much. And but yeah, I'm excited. I'll definitely get some couple hot lines just ready for the mic, and yeah, it'll be fun, dude. I'm pumped, and obviously after that's when the real party starts. So that'll be
shut up the dance floor.
And we're both going to be in Coeur d'Alene you guys are coming up for a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, coming up on the 12th of July, so we'll be there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and get out of the Arizona heat for a little bit. If you haven't been to Arizona in like June, July, August, sometimes September, like don't come. It's not.
Oh, that was your winner. That was your buy of the week.
Well, if you would let me finish, I'll explain. Okay, you shouldn't come because it's so hot. I've gotten used to it to where I will enjoy it because the golf's cheap. Yeah. But the reality
you just don't want them to come so you can keep your golf.
Exactly. So that's why. But the reality is super hot. So we're gonna. I mean, you and I are both lucky enough to have spouses that have. Well, actually, it's ours technically. Once you get married, it's technically ours.
Of course, that's I mean,
I was gonna say.
I think I'm marrying Jasmine for the love. No, it's for the Coeur d'Alene, so we can just be.
We'll keep that on the down low, but
well, I mean down low. I just told it to the whole world, to our millions,
to our 6 followers.
Dude, millions of people are going to hear this after the smart water. The smart water, is going to push us to the top. But no, we always joke with Jasmine and Bree about that we're only with them for the lake house connections.
Yeah, of course. It's not really a joke, but
obviously.
Okay, serious question. Let's get into the thick of it. What So you've been in Arizona for 2 months.
Yep.
And your family's up in Washington. Family aside, because obviously it's easier to connect with family, right? Because they're constantly reaching out and checking in on you. How do you manage? I'm interested in hearing what your answer is on this because I feel like I've run into this over the last 6 months. Is like, how do you manage friendships that you're not like where you don't get to see that person, like not even every day, but every month. Like maybe you haven't seen that person for 6 months, but also Bree and I just talked about this. Is like, how do you manage friends that you're growing apart too?
That's I feel like that's just something that I've realized so much over the last few years is, I mean, even if for the people when I was in Washington and 20 minutes away from, half these people, we didn't see each other for the full time I was there. And it's, it's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's just everybody's got so much shit they're dealing with, for lack of a better term, and so busy just trying to, make your way through life, whether it be family stuff, work stuff, whatever it might be. So I feel like distance doesn't even have as much. There's a lot of us, like you and me, until the last few weeks have not lived within, hundreds of miles from each other the last several years. And we probably talk more than any of my other friends that, I lived next to. So I feel like a big part of it is just effort. We put in effort to talk to each other. And, I feel like it's super important, with me, I just try and not ever this person never reaches out to me anymore or whatever. Don't take it personally. Because people probably think that about me too.
Yeah.
And it's not I'm not reaching out to them because I don't care or whatever. But it's just like I said, everybody's so busy. But for me, it's just putting in the effort. And it's funny that you're well, yeah, I don't have it on my calendar to call this person. I actually kind of do sometimes. I was really good about it in Hawaii because I was oh shoot, I'm going to be far away. I'm not going to be
even with friends, or is that just more
to a certain extent? I'm just such type A Excel person that I would track.
It reminds me of that guy on Instagram that said that he puts. This is that guy on Instagram I sent you, the influencer guy that says he puts in his calendar when he goes to the gym, and then he puts drive to the gym, go to the gym, drive
smoothie. Yeah.
I'm
no, it's not quite to that, but I was for a while, and I haven't done this in a long time. I probably should again, but I would track just because for work we track our calls a lot of the time too. When we have clients looking for houses, it's okay, have I checked in with them this week or whatever? So we're keeping it, and I just had another line when I would talk to my family. And I was just keeping tabs. It's not I'm oh, it's Tuesday at 3. I need to call my grandma.
It's like a CRM for your personal life, basically,
or whatever. And I didn't get too granular with it, but I would track it to where if I would, if I was working, I'd pop into there, once a week or something. And be oh, I haven't talked to. It's been 3 weeks, and you don't even realize it. Like I haven't talked to my mom or whatever. Gonna give her a call. So I don't ever want to make it something that's like that rigid. Like it's the second Tuesday of the month. I gotta call my dad or whatever it might be. But it was kind of helpful to just keep those tabs that where it's not like a chore list. But it's just like, oh shoot, I haven't talked to this person for a while, so I'm gonna give him a call. I was only doing that with family, not as much friends.
Well, it's easier with friends too because you only have like 2 or 3 friends.
Yeah, dude, it's so true.
You just serve me up a platter. Dunk on you on them.
I feel like group chats are a big one for me because there's a few group chats that I'm in that if I wasn't in those, I probably wouldn't talk to those people as much. But it kind of forces you to because every day, somebody's putting something in the group chat.
I think
it's social too.
Yeah, I was gonna say what I fall victim to is I do too much social. Like me and my brother will send stuff back and forth on Instagram, but me and my brother haven't talked on the phone probably in a couple of weeks, and I'm like, I could probably be better about just picking the phone up and having, because like I've done that with friends too for like months on end, and I'm like, I don't even know what's going on in their life because all I've done is send memes back and forth.
Yeah.
But
I mean that's something. I think that counts.
No, it's still staying in touch.
Show your sense of humor, which your brother has a great one that's similar to ours. I feel
for sure. But I think like I've done something similar too. Obviously not calendar, like putting like we were talking about in the calendar, but in my CRM, even for work, I have like you and all my friends in there, and so I have everybody that rotates. I think it's like 2 or 3 months. They'll pop up on like a random day. I'm like, oh, I need to call them and just say what's up.
Yeah, and I had something similar too, where in my like weekly, I have like 3 to 5 things for Monday that I try and do, and it's different for each day. But one of them is to call 5 friends or family. And I used to be a lot better about this. I've kind of been slacking the last few weeks because I've been kind of tweaking my business plan a little bit. But I put it back in there to where it's not like, you need to call these 5 people, but it's just, hey, call 5 family and friends.
Yeah.
And it's literally nothing to do with business, but it's like we're making calls all week. If you can mix in just to 5 people that you like, just to talk about whatever, it forces you to keep those friendships and your relationships with family strong, and B, it kind of helps break up the work week a little bit. Like, hey, I get to make 5 calls that I'm just looking forward to and don't have to think about work. So it's another good way to break it up. And I was going to say one more thing too. This is kind of funny too because one of my brother's friends. For the people that don't know my brother, both of my brothers are 18 and 20. And, when we were growing up, I'm their older brother. I'm like the cool guy. They want to be around me and hang out with me. But now they're getting to the age where I'm like, they want to just hang out with their friends and, have fun. And like, I'm not as cool to them anymore. So one of their friends had like a PlayStation 4 and I've never been like a video game guy whatsoever. Never played video games, but I bought it off him for just like dirt cheap because he was basically...
You ripped him off.
Yeah, just ripped the kid off. But no, he was basically just getting rid of it, so I threw him a little bit of money, and that was like the smartest thing I ever did because my brothers will play Fortnite, and I just get it basically to be on a headset with them for a couple hours a week, to where I don't really care about the game, and I suck at the game. I'm never going to be good at video games. I've just accepted that. But it's a way that we're just talking a few hours a week, and the whole time you're on headsets, so you're just talking about life or whatever. To where it opened my eyes, like, because forever I was just like, I don't get people who play video games. But but if you do that, like, and if you're doing the headset thing, just to like keep in touch with friends and stuff.
Girlfriends and wives around the world are just pissed off.
Yeah, they just all women listening to this just
all 2.5 women that are listening to this right now.
Yeah, both of our moms probably. But no, that was like the smartest thing that I ever did because just like in the last few weeks since I've been down here. Been able to talk to my brothers, have like, and we'll just talk about life, like go deep and have like good conversations. And my brother's in college, like, and I was just in college, not that long ago, so getting to live vicariously through him and stuff like that. So that's been another one too that like was I thought I was like, it's worth it, and then it turned out to totally be.
Yeah, well, it's nice that you have like it's basically like going to grab a drink, or it's just virtually, but.
Yeah,
and you're still doing them at the same time instead of staring at each other, and just having a conversation, which makes it a little less weird, I guess. 100%. I don't know if that's the right way to look at it, but I wanted to ask you, like on that same note, because I feel like you and I are both pretty blunt, and for the most part, I feel like I can be a people pleaser sometimes. I want to know how you respond, or like what would be your response if somebody that you were friends with that you're not even no longer friends with, but you just don't stay in touch with, maybe not that much in common as you used to.
Yeah.
And they approach you and they're like, dude, we have to kick it soon. And the reality is like you either don't have the time to hang out, or you're probably just not as close. Are you the type of guy that's like, dude, for sure, like we gotta kick it, and you're like, you kind of fake it and then you just don't respond? Or are you like, dude, things are pretty busy right now, like how do you approach this?
That's a good question.
And this will help too for the people that you think you're friends with Kyle, and then you're actually not. Now you'll know, like if he actually is your friend or not.
It's a good question, and I am pretty blunt about stuff like that too. Like, where I feel like as I've gotten older, I feel like I don't need an excuse. Like I don't need to come up with like an excuse not to do anything. Just because I have a hard time like not being transparent. Like I can't like make stuff up. Like that's just not in my nature. But I'll just be like, hey, no, I can't, like, or something like that, rather than be like, I have this and this, because I feel like a lot of times that just shows as BS anyway.
Yeah.
And I feel like if someone's not going to be understanding, like if you're busy and have too much going on, then that probably says more about them than
you're
you.
Not that good of friends anyways.
Like, well, not even that necessarily, but like we said earlier, like we're all just getting so old. We have so much stuff going on that it's like hard to keep your own head above water a lot of times with the stuff that you need to do. To where if someone's going to get upset or offended by that, it's most likely says more about them than you. I feel like, and like just because like if someone were to say that to me, I would not. I'd be like, yeah, dude, totally understand. But that being said, like, and Jasmine listening to this is probably like, dude, shut up, like, because I cannot say no. I can't. I'm.
Well, that's why I think it's a good question. I want to talk about it because I think everyone runs into this kind of scenario, especially as you get older, because in our instance, like we grew up with such a huge group of friends, especially from high school to college, and now we're 28 years old, and you're in this weird position where you still want to stay in touch with people because you love them, you enjoy their company, but at least from what I've experienced, especially with having a kid now, you only have like a certain amount of time a week to dedicate to friends. And Bree and I are both huge on like we want to continue to. I think we can agree that you need to have an outside life aside from your significant other and your family. You need to have friends too. So you have to tip though that line of making sure you're not being rude. You don't want to come off as a dick. But you have to value your time and you value the people that you enjoy hanging out with. So
and I feel like most people are pretty understanding about that because they have the same thing that they're like we're all dealing with this. It's not like it's a one-way street. But another thing is too is like I genuinely am just such like a social person that I don't just say yes to stuff because I'm like, oh crap, I have to. Like I genuinely like
you want to.
I always want to be like around people and hanging out to a certain extent as I'm getting older. Because sometimes there'll be a weekend. You work all week and you're like, oh, finally a weekend. Like I just need to unplug. But then you say yes to something Saturday, you say yes to something Sunday.
I do that with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally did that with you last weekend, and we still ended up hanging out.
Dude, seriously.
No, well, we ended up hanging out, but like I think relate, and that's why I like talking about it because I think you as a like most of us as humans want to make everybody else happy, and so like I overextend myself sometimes where I'm like, dude, I really want to let's go on a run and let's do this Saturday, and then 3 other things come up where I got to take care of Vincent and make sure I do the list of stuff that I have for the weekend. Then it's 3 o'clock and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Like I just got freed up. So
no. And then Monday comes around too. And you like needed that recharge. And then you're like, I'm more tired after the weekend than I was after the work week. So that's a big one too, is just like, I guess saying no to more stuff and not feeling guilty about it has been really important. And then just trusting that people are going to be understanding about that. Because more often than not, they are. Just like, I just try and think about myself. I'm like, okay, when someone says that to me, I'm never upset with them, so they're not going to be upset with me. And just realizing that, and then, but it's just hard because I genuinely like, and I say yes to people because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to hang out, and then sometimes I say it too much, and then I realize it after. I'm like, ooh, I just had a weekend where I just had plans with 3 different people, and then I was like, oh, I wish I could have unwinded a little bit, maybe done some chores around the house or whatever, but. It's like a constant balance. I'm just such like a naturally like social. Like I just want to be around people, hanging around people, talking,
Yeah, I think everyone's guilty. At least I'm super guilty of I like filling my plate and then have to backtrack where I'm like, hey, sorry, I actually can't. And that's like
that's way worse. So like if you just were to say it up front, it'd be better. But obviously,
I'm working on it.
Everybody does that.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah. And one other thing that made me think of too is like in the past I have been guilty of like, this person never hits me up. I've asked them, over the last 6 months 5 times to hang out and they've always said no. And I have been like a little bit salty about that, like more in the past. But as I'm getting older, I'm trying to like realize that like maybe they were just going through something or maybe they were just really busy with work or what you don't know what other people have on their plate to not take it seriously. I've definitely been guilty of that too. I want to be transparent. It's not like like I said, it's always a two-way street. That's been important for me on the receiving end as well to try and keep that in mind. Like
you have to. I agree with you. I just think you have to communicate. Like I think if you were to ask somebody to hang out 5 times and they kept saying no, but then you never really got a reason why.
Yeah.
If I'm you, the one that's asking, I would just stop, right? Because you're like you obviously either on the opposite end of what we talked about earlier is like you obviously either just we're not that close anymore and I have the wrong impression.
Yeah.
Or you genuinely don't want to go do the activity that I'm asking you to do. So I'm going to stop asking you.
Yeah.
So I think it's important if you're on the receiving end too to be like after a while, it doesn't have to be right in the moment, especially if you're going through something. But just being like, hey, by the way, dude, I'm sorry. Like things were hectic, or hey, I was going through something, and at the end of the day, it's all.
I feel like 99% of problems can be solved with just communication, like whether it be relationship, like with your old lady, or with your parents or friends or whatever, like with work especially, like just there's a problem rather than like sitting and letting it fester and then having to let people know. You just get in for like, hey, this is happening or whatever, and the same with like friends and stuff too. But I feel like we've just kind of been spitballing about this too, but this is like such a hard topic because it's like always evolving, always changing.
Yeah.
And everybody else's worlds are always changing too, so you'll fall in and out of friends with people. And it's not because like, oh, I like you less now, or it's just because, maybe I'm busy and we both got busy at the same time, so we don't talk as much for a year. But then I see you randomly, walking down the street and it's like, no time has passed. So it's this is a good topic that kind of came up because I feel like I could talk for like 5 hours about this because it's like just one of those, not problems, but one of those things that like I'm always trying to figure out and like there's no like that's why I liked math growing up because like there's an answer. There's one answer that it's right for these reasons, but with this is a problem that's like completely.
Everyone has their own opinion and they can say their 2 cents.
Yes, yeah. People sound off in the comments like and let us know because I feel like this would be a good discussion piece. Like, I'd like to hear what other people would have to say about this because maybe there's a lot better things that we could be
Dude,
doing.
I'm like, I just realized this entire episode, every time I take a drink of water, I put this back. Like, I think I've programmed that we actually are sponsored by Smart Water.
Maybe we'll just work that into just over
Go comment and tag Smart Water and see if we can get some kind of sponsorship from them. Should we get into the buy and sell?
Yeah, dude, and for once I actually came prepared.
You're prepared.
I made a notes list I can't let you see these.
I feel like that's kind of cheating. Oh. You want to lead the charge then?
Yeah. And so for everybody, if you don't know by now, I'm going to catch up. Our buy and sell of the week, it's a weekly segment on the pod. Your buy is something you're stoked on, you're pumped that happened, or just in general, and sell is the opposite, something that pisses you off or you're frustrated with or whatever. So I think it's important to start with sell and we end on a positive note. So my sell of the week, I'm going to go with this one. This one pisses me off. Nutrition and health articles and news, because I swear, like growing up and, just getting older, try to stay healthy as much as I can. And it'll be like, for 3 years, it'll be like, don't eat, I'm just going to make something up, like, don't eat walnuts. Like,
don't eat carbs.
Yeah, don't eat walnuts. They're terrible for you. Like, they raise your whatever levels and you're 50% more likely to get cancer or whatever. And then, like, 3 years later, it's like walnuts are the new superfood.
Yeah.
Like if you're not eating walnuts, like what the hell are you doing?
It's been tested that walnuts actually like will fight cancer.
Dude, and like eggs is another big one. Like it'll be like, oh, don't.
But you've actually seen?
I've seen so much about egg that it used to be like the cholesterol and stuff. Like you don't want to ever eat eggs, and then it's like eggs are the best superfood or whatever, and it's just.
Dude, I eat like 4 or 5 eggs every single morning for the last like probably 5 or 6 years, and I remember, I can't remember who, somebody was like, "You do that? That's so bad for you." And I'm like, "It's bad for me."
Dude, if
I'm not stopping.
If eggs are what puts me down, I'm going out swinging because I will. If there was one food that it's like, hey, you can't keep one food that you don't ever have to give up, it would be eggs.
Really?
Eggs are my staple.
And is that your segue into your buy this week?
No.
Dude, I'm glad
eggs could be my buy every week.
I'm glad this isn't segueing us into that conversation we had about eggs and my coming to Jesus on what eggs are.
Oh my God.
But
you might have to say that.
No, we're not going to touch it.
No, we are.
You got us maybe for a different episode.
You're bad. This guy didn't know that eggs, baby chickens. Bree, we were out at dinner with him and Bree, his wife. We were talking about eggs, and he just thought chickens were just hooking us up, just leaving us.
I'm still going to keep my thought on that. I don't want to change my mind on.
Dude, I hadn't laughed that hard in a while.
Dude, that was not good. But genuinely, I'm not gonna. I thought eggs were just like, I thought it was like a little gift that chickens gave to us that we could eat. I didn't realize that we were actually eating. It's probably the dumbest thing people are probably tuning in. Like, dude, how does God know that? But I genuinely just. I don't like
this. Is what we needed. This is gonna blow the.
Yeah, I don't. I didn't. I don't want to think that I'm eating a baby chicken when I'm eating.
And it is just your subconscious, since you eat so many eggs that you're like. Dude,
I had to suppress that thought.
Don't worry, it's fine. Right?
Well, saying that out loud is every single morning I eat 5 baby chickens for breakfast is terrible.
Yeah.
If I'm eating just a chicken breast, that's not that bad. That's more of a grown chicken that was already that lives a little bit. Yeah, dude, my cell is just. I'm not gonna say
that transition, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my cell.
Dude, I feel like I've been the last couple episodes. I just had a couple of moments that I'm not super proud of, but my cell is I don't want to say stress because I feel like that's like way too broad, but more so like people that stress me out on things that I shouldn't be stressed out on.
Yeah.
So like.
Feel that.
Yeah, especially with our business. I feel like sometimes you can get into like a groove of if you have a lot of stuff going on, and then if outside factors just pile onto that, it just makes everything 10 times harder. And not even just work related, just in general. I think I have like a very like lax, chill mindset, and I do that to kind of suppress things that might be bigger deals than they actually are. But the reality is, life's going to continue to go on. That's my mindset. Like, at the end of the day, like, gonna make it work. Yeah. Right? We just talked about this. So that's my sell is honestly anyone in your life that's bringing you stress, kick them out. Get rid of them. Kick them to the curb.
Yeah. I have to remind myself the stress thing daily because I'm the same way. Like, I try not to stress about stuff because it's like, only kind of worry about what you can control, but that's a lifelong battle because then it's like, all of a sudden it'll all like creep in at once. It's like, well, no, what about this? What about this?
Yeah.
I just like have to be like, all right, brain, shut up. But it's easier said than done, obviously, but it is so important. It's like, can I do something about this right now to solve it? No? Okay, then why am I stressing about it? Like, because that's a lot of the things that people stress about is, and I don't want to get like preachy because, like I said, like I struggle with this on a daily basis too. But just like if you can't do anything about it right now, then you're just wasting time, and you only got so much time. So
wasting time worrying about it.
Yeah. Once again, I feel like on this podcast we're talking about like a lot of this stuff. I don't want to be like, hey, we've got all the answers because we're talking about it because
if you're tuning into this podcast for us to get
answers, it's the wrong place.
It's the wrong spot.
But no, that's what I like about it is like we're just talking about stuff that we're go through on a daily basis. Like get to air it out to each other and try and like in real time like figure it out, come up with solutions.
Hopefully I think if anything just relatable, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's probably when I listen to podcasts, I'd be more interested in that than just random other stuff. So we'll see. We'll go into the buys though now, and on a high note. And I do have an egg one on here actually.
You gotta take it off now. We already discussed it.
Dude, well, I feel like I just gotta just do it this week.
You're gonna rock with it?
Yeah, and I swear, you can look on, this was on here, I'm not just making this up now. Dude, cutting into a perfectly cooked
Dude,
egg yolk?
I'm so against that.
Oh my god, you like the
To me,
rubber?
that's disgusting.
You like the rubber?
I overcook my eggs. I want them like brownish. A little
If I
brown.
scramble, I actually do the same thing. When
Yeah.
I'm scrambling, I do. Just a normal, whatever, like over easy or whatever it is, or fried egg. Just completely, you just cut in and all that egg yolk.
See, dude, I'm so out on that.
Dude,
I'm glad you enjoy it,
It's
but
funny because I was the same way until probably a few years ago, and then I grew up. So catch up, buddy. But now it's like if I'm going out to breakfast, eggs Benny, and then you just cut it. Like in Maui, there's this place called Nalu's where they had a fresh catch of the day ahi eggs Benny, and you just cut into it and just.
Is that on like an egg McMuffin?
Yeah, it's on a English
Or like
English muffin. And then you get the ahi and the egg, and then hollandaise sauce, and then some like paprika and stuff.
I don't know if I don't know. I'd have to try it.
Dude, it is unreal.
If it's a little bit runny, I'm glad you enjoy it. But
It's funny because I was the same way until probably a few years ago, and then I grew up. So catch up, buddy. But now it's like if I'm going out to breakfast, eggs Benny, and then you just cut it. Like in Maui, there's this place called Nalu's where they had a fresh catch of the day ahi eggs Benny, and you just cut into it and just.
Is that on like an egg McMuffin?
Yeah, it's on a English
Or like
English muffin, and then you get the ahi and the egg, and then hollandaise sauce, and then some like paprika and stuff.
I don't know if I don't know. I'd have to try it.
Dude, it is unreal.
If it's a little bit runny, but yeah, moms around the world. I know there's going to be a ton tuning in, and thankful for you. And I wouldn't be able to do what I do without Bree and moms around the world. So we salute you. That's my bye. I literally and figuratively would not be here without my mother.
On that note, though, like think about all the baby chickens who like didn't get to meet their mother just because you're
Yeah,
eating
that's
4 or 5 of them a day, dude. So, I mean, I just
How much do you really care?
Yeah, I mean, let's just let that.
Yeah, well, we might want to end on that.
Yeah, no, but I don't want to. I can't just piggyback on that, but I got to say the same thing too because I know my mom listened to the first 3 episodes. So, Mom, if you're listening, I'll have something coming your way on Sunday, even though I can't be there in person. And I love you. Same with my grannies. Yeah, like you said, none of us would be here without them. So.
And Cheryl, I forgot Cheryl, second mom. Shout out. Hope you're tuned in.
Yeah, that's crazy too. I didn't even think about it. Now your wife celebrates Mother's Day too because you got little Vincent.
Vincenzo.
Vincenzo, yeah.
Yeah, we did do the name change.
Yeah, dude, I want to be there for that.
Yeah,
you have to have like a name change party.
Dude, Dante DiVincenzo. Shout out if you're tuned in. That's such a sick name.
Dude, he's definitely tuned in.
Yeah,
he's a big listener. He's on our Patreon.
He said in one of his interviews, he's like, yeah, honestly, getting prepared for games. Like, I've been listening to. I think you should buy. Get some ready. He had a huge 3 in game 1.
All right, dude. Well, shall we wrap up episode 4?
Guys, this is it.
I think you should buy.
Yeah.
The new Stewed. We'll try and get the gaps filled for you next week, just so we're.
Yeah, it's
so
not
Devin
that
can
big of
sleep
a
at night,
deal.
but-
I mean, come on.
All right, brother.
Back.
We done did it.